Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford is a fascinating fight on so many levels. But one thing that has been dominating the headlines is Terence Crawford's size and weight. Look, Crawford is coming up in a lower weight division to fight Canelo Alvarez at super middleweight. And Canelo is going to be much bigger and much heavier than Terence Crawford on the night. Actually, on the night, you can see that Canelo is much bigger. And weight division is in boxing for a reason. Size is important in boxing for a reason. Now, a lot of people are asking, is Terence Crawford too small for Canelo? Or will he be too small on the night for Canelo? Look, I don't think he will. Now, I made the same mistake when Oleksandr Usyk moved up to heavyweight. Before Usyk fought Anthony Joshua, I thought Usyk would be too small, he would be too little. These guys are too big, 6'6", 250, 270 pounds. Usyk is 6'3", 220, 222 max is how he fights most of the time. And I thought that Usyk was going to be way too small for these big guys. But I was wrong. And I'm not going to make that mistake again, because I believe at the top level, at the elite level in boxing, size does not matter. It is all about skills. Skills pays the bills at the top level in heavyweight boxing, or at the top level in boxing in general. Skills pays the bills. And we saw what Oleksandr Usyk did to the likes of Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Derek Chisora, even Charles Witherspoon, which was his first fight. Coming in smaller than Charles Witherspoon, Usyk was able to get his way. Usyk was able to find a way to win. And Usyk showed that he was a superior boxer. And the footwork, the agility, the ability to move around the ring so freely, which is something that a lot of heavyweights are not used to. They have the ability and the propensity to be able to really move around the ring and create a small target for the bigger guys. And I think that is something that we're going to see in this fight between Canelo and Terence Crawford. I think Crawford is going to be small in the ring. I think he's going to provide a smaller target for Canelo to hit. Just like Usyk versus Anthony Joshua first fight, Joshua was punching down, which is always difficult for these guys that are 6'6", 6'5", 6'7". In the Tyson Fury fight, Usyk made it really difficult for Tyson Fury to pin him down, because Usyk was the smaller target and he fought really small. He really drives his jab up, which is really difficult for Fury to defend a jab that is coming from downwards to upwards. And it's always really difficult for any tall fighter to dissect and really get around a very, very good small fighter. And I think Crawford is a very, very good small fighter. Canelo is a very good fighter, but Crawford is an exceptional switch hitter, southpaw, crafty fighter. And because he is small, it's a very dangerous fight for Canelo. Canelo cannot afford to underrate Terence Crawford. Canelo has to take Terence Crawford very, very seriously, because the fact that he is small and that skillful just shows that he's got a way to nullify Canelo's bombs, right? He's got a way to nullify Canelo's advantages. And when a fighter is able to nullify the other's advantages, you know that it's going to be a long, long night for them. And I think Canelo cannot afford to make mistakes. And, you know, we've seen it in so many times in boxing where the smaller guy who has got the superior boxing skills have always been able to defeat the bigger guy, because really size does not matter. It is all about the skill level, it's all about the agility, it's all about the footwork, it's all about the ability to be able to win the mental battle when in the ring. And Crawford has shown that he's able to do that. Of course, Canelo, in many people's eyes, is the favorite in this fight. And absolutely, he deserves to be the favorite, because he's the bigger guy, he's the bona fide super middleweight, he's the champion. Crawford is challenging him for the belt. Crawford wants to make history. Canelo wants to make history. Of course, there's a lot of money involved on the line for this fight. But for both fighters, it is all about making history. And I think that Crawford being small is very dangerous for Canelo if Canelo does not take Crawford very seriously. Another example is Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr. moved all the way from middleweight to super middleweight to light heavyweight to cruiserweight to become heavyweight champion. Now, how was Roy Jones able to do that? Given the fact that he's such a small fighter, that is because he's got superior boxing skills. Roy Jones, at his peak, was one of the best fighters anyone has ever seen. His footwork was amazing. His agility was incredible. His ability to evade punches was just amazing. His reflexes was second to none. And Roy Jones had speed. And of course, as we know, speed and timing is one of the most dangerous weapons in boxing. And Roy Jones had that, right? The reflexes, the footwork, the boxing IQ. And that was the way he was able to defeat the likes of John Ruiz to become heavyweight champion of the world, which was something that no one has ever done in a long time in boxing. And Roy Jones was able to become that. That is because his skills were so superior to the other opponents that it did not matter that Roy Jones was moving through cruiserweight or light heavyweight or heavyweight. He was just simply the better boxer, simply the better skilled technical boxer, and knew how to overcome his opponent and knew how to nullify his opponent and become the more favorable fighter to win the fight. And that was what Roy Jones was able to do. And that's exactly what Oleksandr Usyk, when he moved up in heavyweight, was also able to do. And I just feel like Canelo can never afford to see Terence Crawford as a smaller fighter and therefore thinks it's going to be easier in there, because it's going to be really hard for Canelo to pin down Terence Crawford to land those shots that we know that he wants to land, because Terence is a smaller fighter. On the night, he's going to be much smaller. On the night, he's going to provide a very difficult conundrum for Canelo Alvarez to solve because of the sheer size that Canelo is going to be and the fact that Terence Crawford is going to be smaller but much more skilled and, in my opinion, the better boxer than Canelo Alvarez. Look, it's a fascinating fight. It's a super interesting fight. I'm interested to see how the styles match together. I'm interested to see how the smaller guy finds ways around the bigger guy. I'm interested to see how the bigger guy and Canelo find a way to stop Terence Crawford from being very nimble on his feet, to get Terence Crawford in the corner and to start to unleash those powerful shots that we know Canelo can unleash. It's a fascinating fight. I am super excited about it. You guys get in the comment section and let me know what you think. Is Terence Crawford too small for Canelo? Or do you think at the top level, at the elite level in boxing, it does not matter what size you are? If a fighter is skilled, then they have every opportunity to win the fight. Get in the comment section and let me know. My name is Bright. This is the Bright Show Podcast Boxing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.